Looking for a new adventure, Louise MacDonald moved from Newcastle to Australia to work as a personal trainer.
Was just a really happy-go-lucky person, just heaps of energy and vibrant and loving life.
But then Louise was hit with some devastating news. Her friend was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer and had renal failure. He was told that if he didn't have a kidney transplant, he'd die.
And he didn't ask me for a kidney, I just offered because it just seemed natural, because I loved him and I wanted him to be happy again.
Her selfless act saved her friend's life. But 10 months after the operation, Louise was readmitted to hospital. She had an obstruction on her bowel and was in severe pain.
And the surgeon said, "You must get her ready for theatre now. She's got an obstruction and I need to get there now." So the surgeon came from his home and operated on me straight away and said if it had been an hour later, I would have been dead. Just the whole world fell apart. I just felt like I'd failed my friend because I just felt hopeless.
During this already emotional time, Louise's younger brother Daniel died suddenly in bed after a seizure. This also triggered an irrational fear of death and being alone. So much so that she moved back to Newcastle to have the security of staying with her family.
Not long after I arrived back, I started to get really bad panic attacks and just feeling like I was dying, and they've just got worse and worse and worse, and the memory of each one just compounds how terrified I feel, and I don't want to die. You know, I do everything right. I want to look after myself. I don't understand why I feel like this.
Nick and Eva Speakman start the therapy and focus on making Louise realise she's stronger and healthier than she thinks.
So basically, he's struggling with life and has renal failure, and you step in and save his life.
Sounds
nice
right when someone else says that, yeah.
You've got a fear of how do I live my life moving forward with one kidney? How good was your kidney?
The nephrologist said it's the best one he's ever seen.
Okay.
It was very big as well. He said I was born to donate a kidney because it was nearly the size of a male organ.
What does that tell you about the kidney that you've got?
It's a really good one.
Okay.
And I shouldn't be worried.
And to reiterate that point, the Speakmans take Louise to see a doctor.
So taking one kidney out and giving it to somebody else, you've still got sort of quite a spare capacity in your remaining kidney. There's data to show that donors actually live longer than normal people.
I was told that before the transplant, actually, and I should have remembered that. It's something that's kind of just went, you know, they said that.
You're top 3% of the population in terms of fitness. You've got spare capacity, so you should have no problems whatsoever. The only thing I would do is get your blood pressure checked, perhaps every 6 months or so, and get a kidney function test once a year.
And Louise joins us alongside the Speakmans. Welcome to you, Louise. Hi. Lovely to have you. Now, part of the process, originally, first of all, with you guys, is to identify the issues. And then once you know what the issues are, what's causing the problem, you go through them one by one. And in Louise's case, there was quite a list, really, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was very much a list. Initially, it was PTSD, but it spiralled into monophobia, which is fear of being alone, thanatophobia, which is the fear of death, cybophobia, fear of food, and also OCDs. Right. So it was a very complex case, and it's a really great example how one thing such as PTSD can spiral into other areas and become very complex.
Yeah. And how did you begin to deal with that complex list of things? Because we saw there that the minute you started to speak, you were incredibly emotional. So how do you cut through that and get to the nub of what it is?
Well, ultimately, we're going to find out where did it start? Because Louise had seen 6 therapists, and they'd all sort of concentrated on the fear of food, which was one of the, you know, the symptoms, basically. So ultimately, what we uncovered, Louise was got PTSD from the moment that she was told if you'd not had an operation within the next hour, you would die. So that was the start of it. And then, so she had this fear of being alone because she thought, I was on my own and I could die. And then it was compounded by the fact that her brother sadly died in his sleep. So those two things together meant that she was just frightened of being alone.
So, Louise, for you, it was just a case of getting all those bits and pieces and seeing them rationally.
Yeah. Yeah.
As simple as that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so what did they say? What were the things that they said that made you do a U-turn on all of these thoughts that you'd had in your head up until now?
Just got me to go back to the moment when I felt like that and realise that I was okay. I didn't die. I wasn't dying. It was just an irrational perspective, and they got me to see it for how it really was. And to be feeling like that moving on made no sense. You know, it was just something that was stuck there. And Eva sort of described it being a bit like a record that's just kind of going round and round and round in the same spot, and they just kind of nudged me on. And
well, it's changed your life.
Absolutely.
You've been out, no fear of being on your own now. You're outside, you can stand in the middle of a field, which you would never, that's unthinkable. And something as simple as that for many people, unthinkable for you. You're sleeping on your own, your dad was your carer, having to sleep in the room with you. He's no longer there, you're on your own. In fact, we've got, because this has had a profound effect on your family and friends as well. Here's your dad.
Just really come right back to what she was. Lovely, bubbly person, you know, and it's just lovely. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her.
And before any of this happened, you had a career, you were your personal trainer, all of that was put on hold, haven't been able to do it, and since this, you've got a job, have you?
I start tomorrow.